Hi everyone, welcome to Adventures with Raven and Rowley. I'm Raven and this is Rowley. We are slowly converting a cargo trailer into a tiny home. For the last 5 years we've lived in an RV, full time. Last week I talked about the windows and what I did to the ceiling to brighten the cargo trailer interior. This week I'll talk about why I didn't stay with the women's caravan this past week. If you're curious, please join us on this journey and continue to watch. I think this past week, up to the 20th, is the last women's caravan, the 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲 women's caravan of the season. They close them down during the summer because the size of the spaces available further north. As you go further north, the boondocking spaces become smaller, and they try to have spaces that will hold up to 75 rigs. Okay. Now with the women's caravan again, except this time I'm going to bail out. It's a beautiful place. Nomads usually travel north or east for the summer to get to cooler weather, or to, go higher in elevation. It's usually around 113 degrees here in southern Nevada during the summer. And hotter the further south you go on the west coast, I was planning on staying. I went to the caravan, but I was planning on staying a minimum of 8 days, and probably I wanted to stay a total of 14 days, but I didn't. I said 8 days and maybe 14. Even though I had said in previous videos that I wasn't going out again until I had windows, okay? 14 days is the maximum you can stay on BLM land without moving 25 miles to a new spot, I had actually put everything away inside. It was so nice and neat and clean and beautiful. Instead of leaving things in bags and taking care of it when I got there, and unpacking when I got there. I packed up everything nice and neat so that when I got there, all I had to do was hang out, It was cold. It was really, really, really cold. It was windy, 51-mile-an-hour gusts, and at no point in time did it stop blowing. Not once. Nobody was outside of their rig, no conversations, and definitely no campfire. And the thing is I did check the weather before I left. I knew it was going to be cold. It's supposed to go down to 39 degrees. And it was going to be 55 during the day, I knew it was going to be windy. They said wind gusts of 51 miles an hour, That info didn't stick. Or I thought I could ride it out or something, I thought I'd be okay. I stayed about 1 hour. That was long enough to get out and say hello to a bunch of women. It was cold. It was really cold. I went inside the cargo trailer and sat, and I thought about turning on the heat. But, why leave the door open if you're going to turn on the heat? I thought about sitting inside that box with no windows for at least 24 hours, and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun was out. It was beautiful outside, except it was cold and it was windy, and nobody else was outside at all, So I would have been sitting there by myself in this dark box with only the light from the ceiling vent, this little 1-foot square ceiling vent inside of this trailer. So I made the decision to return home. I was very disappointed. I think I beat myself up over that for quite some time. You could have stood it. You could have, I would have stayed if I had windows to look at it. I'm pretty positive I would have stayed because every other time I've been out camping, the weather has been beautiful. So I would get up, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever, 5 o'clock, and I'd open the door, watch the sun come up, whatever. And it would be cool in the morning. I mean, there were times when I was at the RTR in Quartzsite, it went down to 43 degrees at night. It was cold going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, but otherwise it was okay. It was all very, very bearable. I could do it. And I figured, 39 degrees is only, 4 degrees less than 43. So at any rate, I didn't realize that I'm somewhat claustrophobic, and I must have a way to look out. I must have a way to look out. If I were to stay there, I would have had to close the door to keep the heat in and have just the light from the ceiling vent. I could have turned on lights, that kind of stuff, but why stay inside of a 6x12 box? I might as well go home, right? I figured it's not just the cold. I hadn't even thought about inclement weather before, but it's not just about the cold, but about any kind of bad weather. I have to close the doors, there's no way I could have seen what was outside around me. Like I said, every other time I went, the weather was wonderful, so I never gave it any consideration, And during those times, I could open the doors and use them like windows, I didn't care about windows in the evening because, who leaves their curtains up at night, You can't see anything anyway, So it didn't bother me. It just didn't bother. But I thought about, suppose I had been living full-time on the road, would I have stayed? I asked myself, would I have stayed? And I think the answer would be no. I would not have stayed if I had no windows, because I'd been closed inside of a box, or because I would have to live with the cold and open the door. I would have moved. I would have gone further south, where it was warmer. I got wheels, right? So if I had windows, I probably would have stayed, yes, with no problem. I would have just looked out the windows and waved at people walking by or whatever every now and then, So it hurt my heart this morning, but I had to put the cargo trailer in storage. It really hurt. I packed it with the stuff that I was carrying in the car, like I had an extra tent, and I had an inflatable mattress, and chucks for the wheels and stabilizers for the back to help it level out, that kind of stuff I carried in the car. So I chucked it inside of the cargo trailer. So now it looks like a mess in there. And then I remembered I forgot to bring my heavy jackets and sweaters back into the house. So I've got to go get them. And I forgot to unload the water from the car. I've got 10 gallons of water sitting in the second row on the floor in the car, 5 on each side, behind the passenger seat and the driver's seat. I got to get them out of there. But, to do that, I need to get the storage key and all that kind of good stuff. So I got to get over there. So I had taken the trailer with me and all of the stuff to finish the ceiling. And I had brought some carpet to put down and some tiles to do the floor. And I still need to wash down and polish the wood and, just stuff. I need to do stuff in there. So all of that stuff is still in there. It still needs to be done. So I think I'll wait on the kitchen shelf area, the shelves that I want to put up in the kitchen until I get the windows in. And then, why put up the shelves and then realize I've got too small a space or too large a space or whatever. Anyway, I'll get windows. I'm saving for windows now, actively saving after the car repairs. So I'll be going over to the storage area and working on it from there. So I'll keep you in the loop. And that's pretty much why I did not stay with the women's caravan this week. I kind of got I really want to get out. I've got these itchy feet kind of things, I want to get out on the road. I want to do stuff. I want to see things. And I have to wait. So anyway, the Rowley report. I saw a video where a woman pointed at a dog bowl and said, "Eat." I say eat all the time, but he doesn't go over to it right away. It's like he's not interested in the food, even though he's eating home-cooked food now, which, who knows, maybe he's not interested. I see he's getting kind of fat, so I'm wondering if I'm feeding him too much, even though I measure everything. But when I pointed at the bowl and said, "Eat," he immediately went over to eat, which kind of surprised me. So I said, well, maybe he knows hand signals. I'm still learning Rowley. I don't know. I'm still learning dog, I tried a few obvious things like sit, and I'd lowered my hand like that to when I said sit. And he sat. Right. I said, come, and I said, come, like this. And he didn't. He looked at me, and that was that. I haven't fallen down a rabbit hole over this one yet, but I expect to. I need to look up hand signals and that kind of stuff and see what people are saying and try them on him and see if they actually work. Maybe, I'm not going about this right. I'm not very good at learning dog, so maybe. And then I said, well, I'm not really good at learning dog, but maybe he's just learning English. Maybe he didn't come from an English-speaking family. But I fell down that rabbit hole. So I Googled how to say sit in Spanish. And it said come and eat, in a couple of words in Spanish. And his ears twiggled, twisted. His ears did his things, like he knew I was talking to him, but that was about it. I tried Mandarin too, because of the communities that we have around here. And I got the same result. So I think he really did speak English. But the thing is, the real thing is that he looks like he is bored out of his mind. And he's been acting that way since when we go outside. Last week I reported that he was a pleasure to walk with. This week he must have heard me, because it's been hell walking with him. Lunging, barking, carrying on. He's polite to most people, but the lunging and barking at golf carts has resurfaced. He's going crazy. I fell down a rabbit hole about dog puzzles too, thinking, well, if he's bored, maybe if, I had tried puzzles, I don't know, when I first got him, but he solved them so fast and I ran out of puzzles, The problem is that he's not food motivated, except for possibly cheese and bacon. But then again, who isn't, I'm food motivated for bacon and cheese, yeah. He also doesn't get dry kibbles. So most of the dog puzzles that I've seen online require kibbles, or, so that they can knock them out of the toy and chase them around and that kind of stuff. And other than the Kong toy that you stuff and then freeze, there really isn't anything else for puzzles with wet dog food. So if you've got any ideas about puzzles that I could make for him, buy for him, whatever, well, I'd rather not buy, but if I can make for him with home-cooked dog food, that would be good, because I'm not finding much of anything. Okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for your support. See you next Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and take care of you and yours, and blessed be.